Hello you guys, my name is Alexa and welcome to today's card reading. Today I'm doing a reading for the week of September 15th through September 21st of 2024. This reading is channeled for my Capricorn, so if you're a Capricorn Sun, Capricorn Moon, Capricorn Rising, or your North Node is in Capricorn, this one is especially for you. Or if you just feel very randomly called to listen to this message, then hats off to you, and there's probably a reason for that. So today, my dear Capricorns, I pulled a few different cards. I used two different decks, and it looks like a big message that's going to be coming through for you guys for this upcoming week is getting comfortable with finding a good balance between working hard and working towards your goals, and also allowing yourself time to really lean into the things that you're passionate about and to lean into the things that basically amplify your light or make you feel alive. There are a lot of themes of balance that came up with this reading today, so I'm going to start diving right on into it, and if you have any questions on anything or want further clarification, please feel free to send me a message here or Instagram or anywhere at alexab.alchemy. So I'm going to start out with my Crystal Spirits card deck. I only pulled one card from this deck. The card that I pulled for you guys was Malachite in reverse, so that appears upside down. Upright she looks like this. And the main message of this card is the importance of finding a level of clarity between your thoughts and your emotions, because those are two very real and very important pieces of your experience. Your emotions inform you about how you feel about things in life, and your thoughts inform you about your beliefs and your belief systems. So these two areas, especially if you're feeling disconnected from yourself or your purpose, can feel kind of like they're at odds sometimes, or like they're battling with each other, especially in the culture that we're raised in. Sometimes it can be really hard to allow ourselves to have space for our emotions, especially if you grew up in or are in an atmosphere where logic is really heavily stressed. Sometimes this can feel kind of unnatural, but this week the first piece of guidance is finding the happy medium between both and allowing both to coexist at the same time. So especially if you're feeling like you have a logical approach to something and you have an emotional approach to something, learning what the balance is that sort of honors both so that you're not shutting down a piece of yourself, because both aspects of these are, for lack of a better word, pieces of yourself. There is also an importance in being mindful of your intuition and integrating that into your day-to-day experiences, especially if that's not something that you've been doing or not something that you've been super accustomed to as of late. I think this week will offer you a lot of opportunities to sort of practice that. I do want to read directly from the book for a couple of things. It does feel like one or two things want to come out. First thing, the very first sentence in the book: overthinking can make you feel like you are starting to lose it, but Malachite's spirit has appeared to let you know there is a difference between unproductive ruminating and taking the time to apply logic that can help you make sense of what you know. Reasoning with clarity means the right use of your intellect as you consider all of the evidence you have encountered. This includes evidence produced by opening yourself to messages from the universe through your first sense, which is intuition. So again, it's the integration of everything that you're seeing and observing, everything that you are cognitively registering, and also the information that you're taking in from within yourself. Maybe these are things that are like really deep, again, intuitions or senses that you have about something, really allowing those to be a part of your process of deciding what's right for you or what the next best move might be. Now, my dear Capricorns, from the Sacred Creators Oracle deck, I pulled a few more cards that kind of expand on that concept. And a lot of these next cards really have an emphasis on where you're putting your energy, what you're putting your energy into, and are you uselessly draining yourself or running around in circles or doing things that you don't really care about, that don't really mean anything to you, and forgetting about what is deeply, intuitively, at your core, at your spirit, important for you. So the cards that I pulled for you, I pulled a few in reverse. Just food for thought if you were not familiar with this. Anytime a card is pulled in reverse, there is generally an emphasis that you may need to be looking within yourself, especially if there are situations where you're trying to turn it outward. You're like, oh, this job makes me unhappy, or this person makes me unhappy, or whatever it is, something external from you is creating an issue for you. Then this is, anytime a card is pulled in reverse, it's an invitation to see, is that a reflection of something that's going on more deeply within you? For example, if someone in your life is really judgmental, are you actually working with an energy within yourself that feels judgmental, and they're just reflecting that back to you? So just something to keep in mind if you feel like you're in a situation where you're looking at, oh, this situation or this thing or this XYZ outside of me is affecting me. Yes, there's validity to that, and also make sure that you are allowing yourself a time to get clear on if that is indicative of something deeper about yourself. So, okay, first card that I want to go over for you guys was the Stop, Drop, and Ground card. I did pull this one in reverse. This card is a huge encouragement for you to take a break, take a pause, not necessarily to stop working or to stop being productive or to stop moving towards your goals, but to just allow yourself to get grounded and really get clear on what you're doing and why you're doing it. This is going to be monumental, especially if you are in a role that is entrepreneurial or in a role where you are responsible for some type of creation, whether that's content creation or I'm getting like family, parenting, maybe that's another form of creation. Just understanding if your actions are in alignment with your deepest sense of what's right for you. In the upright position, had I pulled it upright, this is all about mindful presence, finding joy in the current moment. In the reverse, it can imply a feeling of maybe being undeserving of accepting joy. So maybe there are situations where you have opportunities to be joyful, but you've just been in a kind of a funk where you're just like, I just don't feel happy with anything. If that resonates, then it's very possible that there is a lot of opportunity this week to work with that energy and find some improvements with that energy. There may also be a need to spend time with people that you love, to release limiting beliefs, to accept things from your past that have been a little bit challenging, things that might just cause you to be a little bit more, again, in your head and out of your heart. Anything that's really causing you to disconnect from your body or to disconnect from your soul, that's causing you to feel overwhelmed, may be also causing a need to relax. And there is an importance in taking that time for yourself. That doesn't, again, mean that you're pressing pause on everything forever, eternally, and you're just going to ignore all your responsibilities. But this is a call for a temporary pause to just get clear with yourself. The fact that you're here listening to this reading, congratulations, you've already did step one. You know, you've already completed this. So there is a continual encouragement for you this upcoming week to keep doing things like that. Next card I pulled for you guys was the Spark of Hustle. Also in the reverse of this card does acknowledge the importance of hard work and working towards your goals. In the reverse, it can imply maybe overworking, maybe overachieving, maybe putting all your eggs in one basket and going all in on something that you don't feel all in on. So again, this theme of really being aligned with your actions and your heart, I feel like that's kind of just what's been coming up, and this may be a huge theme for you. This could be, again, relationships, this could be in your work, this could be in your personal life, number of things, vocation, etc. Self-care message with this card. If you're hustling too hard, getting lost in the grind, feeling like a workaholic, or you're manifesting busyness, again, there's a difference between busyness and productivity. So if you feel like you're manifesting busyness, it's important to really know what inspires you and what's worth putting your energy into. Because this reading is a lot about balance, there is also an importance in knowing that yes, you may feel like, or you may actually need to take a break, you may need to ground, you may need to get realigned. And also if something is a sacred mission of yours, if it's something that you feel called to do in this life, there are going to be times when you're going to feel resistance to that. There are times when it's going to feel like that pushes you beyond a limit of what you feel is possible or what you feel capable of. And that is also a gift. So there is, yes, a balance of pushing yourself and allowing yourself to rest. Just know that if you're in alignment with the thing that is calling to you or the thing that you feel most deeply drawn to, and I think you probably already know what it is, if you're in alignment with that, it is probably going to bring up some challenges. It is going to bring up some belief systems, maybe some imposter syndrome, maybe like it's going to bring up a lot of things for you. It doesn't mean it's necessarily going to be seamless, but it is also important that you continue working towards those things, even if it's a small chip away, day by day, like tiny amount of work that you're doing. You don't have to put in everything that you have all at once, full steam ahead, and never take a break. That's not what this card pull is saying. This card pull is just encouraging you to be aligned, especially with your intuition, which brings me to the next card, which tells you to overrate your intuition. I also pulled this card in the reverse, so I do feel like some of you have been struggling with this or are maybe struggling to get in touch with this. Easiest possible way is to try to release the attachment to your belief systems, to your stories, to the things that your mind is telling you, to being attached to your mind, to being attached to your thoughts, and allow yourself to acknowledge those and validate those and say, okay, thank you for showing me that I think this way, or showing me that I believe this, or showing me that I feel this way. And then open yourself up to the lower aspects, as in your body, as in your soul, which are kind of the higher aspects, but we don't need to get into that. So allowing yourself to really get in touch with the more grounded pieces of you, maybe the more primal pieces of you. If you don't have a movement practice, I would highly recommend that you get involved with one. If you do have a movement practice and you've been slacking off, this might be a really good time to put some energy into that. For those of you who are not aware of this or haven't heard of this before, there is a lot of science to back that in the fall is actually a phenomenal time to be productive, partially because we have come out of the summer season and a lot of people have kind of done a little bit of rest, recharge, their schedules were all over the place. And now we're in back to school season. We're in the season where people are starting to get back into their grind, etc., before the holidays. And this is a really phenomenal time right now to review any goals that you may have set. So if you didn't listen to the January reading that I posted for the whole year, maybe go back into that if you want to get a little bit more realigned. Also looking at goals you may have set for yourself in January and identifying, are there things here that I've been neglecting? Are there things here that I really want to put energy into? And it doesn't matter if maybe earlier in this year I fell off that. That doesn't mean that I can't get into it, because right now the fall season is one of the most perfect times to get realigned with your goals and to get realigned with the things that feel true to you and feel important to you. So the energy around you is really in service of you moving ahead, especially in projects or things that you feel called towards. So I'm just going to gently and lovingly encourage you to take advantage of this energy, because it is potent and it is very, very powerful. And in order to do that, sometimes we do have to take a step back, rest for a minute, recalibrate, get in touch with our bodies, get in touch with our intuition, get in touch with how we feel. This is all serving the greater purpose of really charging ahead and following through on some of the things that we had said that we'd wanted to do. And if there are things that maybe you're like, that doesn't actually align with me, intuitively that doesn't feel right for me, then giving yourself permission to say, okay, this is something that I don't want to like invest half-ass of my energy in. And this is not something that I want to be, you know, like putting a lot of mental bandwidth in, so you can metaphorically or whatever kind of check that box, check that off the list, cross it off the list, or save it for a later date if this is not the time for you to be working on that. The last card that I pulled is to befriend the word polarize, especially if you are in a role that involves leadership or creation or sharing your ideas with the world. This card comes up anytime that you may be feeling either imposter syndrome, or feeling like, oh, well, what I have to offer may ruffle some feathers or make some people uncomfortable. And this week, there may be some encouragements for you to get comfortable with that and to understand that what you offer, what you provide is not going to be everyone's cup of tea, and that's okay. If they don't love it, then they don't have to utilize it. They don't have to, you know, like your energy is not going to be for everyone, and that's fine. You don't need to be a people pleaser. If you have people pleasing tendencies, this is going to be a really good week for you to get in touch with overcoming some of those and working with some of those. So yeah, okay, I'm feeling called to close out. Dear heavens, okay, I'm feeling called to close out. Thank you, my dear Capricorns, for tuning in with me. As noted, if you have questions, please feel free to reach out and let me know. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'm going to get back into posting these videos every single week. That was my personal goal for myself for the remainder of this year. So yeah, if you need any more guidance, please make sure that you subscribe, you keep coming back to these, and I will see you guys next week. Have a good one.